The man, lying in a hibernation pod, was jolted awake by a piercing alarm. Before he could process what was happening, his body was swiftly enveloped by a spacesuit formed through advanced nanotechnology. Moments later, after a violent jolt, the hibernation pod was ejected into space. It was only then that Evans realized the spacecraft had been struck by a meteor. Looking around, he saw numerous other hibernation pods being ejected alongside his, all hurtling toward a nearby unknown planet for emergency landing. However, most of the pods exploded mid-flight due to the extreme external temperatures. Fortunately, Evans' pod managed to pierce through the planet's atmosphere and descend, but the pod was reaching its structural limits, and with the equipment failing, a safe landing was impossible. In the next moment,
Terrain alert, terrain alert, terrain alert.
Evans narrowly escaped disaster. As the pod came to a halt, he peered through the window only to see a desolate landscape filled with swirling sand and ominous clouds. The entire planet exuded an eerie sense of lifelessness. Evans quickly activated his communication device, trying to contact other survivors, but there was no response. At that moment, the hibernation pod's sensors detected a fissure beneath it and urged Evans to evacuate immediately. Just as he climbed out of the pod, the ground beneath it gave way, causing the pod to tip over. Evans was thrown back inside, and to make matters worse, his spacesuit was torn by the sharp edge of the pod during the fall. Oxygen began to rapidly leak out. On this alien planet, where the atmosphere was primarily carbon dioxide, oxygen was undeniably the key to survival. Panicked, Evans quickly sealed the tear in his suit with liquid adhesive. But even with this fix, he was left with less than half of his oxygen supply. Determined, Evans climbed out of the pod once again. He began to pray that the main spacecraft had somehow recovered from the meteor strike, and that someone would come to rescue him. Yet, in the very next moment, a fiery streak tore across the sky. It was the main ship. Evans stared in disbelief as his faint hope of survival was extinguished. The ship crashed in the distance, dashing any chance of rescue.